Hola, ¿cómo está? Me llamo Mali. Hablo español un pequeño. Welcome to the Spanish edition, Mexican Spanish food. This is my interpretation of some of their classics. The first dish I'm going to make is a drink, horchata. It is a milkless drink. You boil rice with cinnamon and then you turn it into, you grind some almonds. Almost like making almond milk. So let's get started. This is going to be for 2 people. I have this at medium heat. I am putting 3 cups of water. Remember, this doesn't have any milk in it. So the first thing you want to do is take 3 cups of regular water, 1 cinnamon stick, and 1/4 of a cup of regular rice. And I'm going to bring this to a boil, and then I will strain. We're not going to have the drink. The drink will not have rice or cinnamon in it. It's just going to be infused. So I will see you back here once the boiling is complete. Okay, so the rice, I brought the rice and the cinnamon to a boil, and then I've cooled it off a little. And then you want to get some kind of a strainer and either use a blender or Vitamix. And I'm going to pour this in so that the rice and the cinnamon is not part of the equation. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. And I did put 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract in it. And I'm not sure if it's traditionally served hot or cold. I'm probably going to throw a couple ice cubes in. I kind of want something a little bit cold. And you want to sweeten it. You could use honey, agave, whatever you like. I'm using this low-calorie sweetener, and that's 2 tablespoons. Well, actually, I'm going to just do 1 tablespoon. I'll see if it's sweet enough, but this sweetener seems to be kind of strong. And then I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of almonds. Now when I get nuts in, I usually get them raw, and then I roast them in the oven at 350 for about 5 to 7 minutes until you smell the nut, the roasted nut. That's when you want to pull it out, or they burn really easily. So I am going to throw a couple ice cubes in, and I'm going to blend it up, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So what's fascinating about this is, even though it does not have any milk, you're actually making 2 things here. You're making rice milk, which you can buy in the store, and you're also making your own almond milk. So here's what it looks like. It smells amazing. It just has like a hint of cinnamon, very creamy, perfect portion for 2 people. Yeah, this is beautiful. Very creamy for not having any milk in it. This would be good if you're somebody who has dairy allergies. And I did want to mention, you have all of this rice with a little cinnamon in it. Don't throw that away. You could make some rice pudding, rice custard. So I am making open face breakfast tacos, and the first step is to cook up, now this is optional, the first step is to cook up some bacon. We're going to crumble that on top of it, and I have uncured chicken bacon. Just look for something with no nitrates, less fillers, but that's the first step. Go ahead and get your bacon, or you could even use Canadian bacon. So get your meat set up. We're going to actually char or kind of somewhat cook the tortilla. Now I am using la banderita. I love these carb counters. They're only 45 calories for this large of a burrito. You could actually have 2 of these for the breakfast taco. So the first thing, put it on low heat. You're going to just set it on there. You want to babysit this because I've had some that got too dark. And you want to make sure that you have some kind of safe prongs that you can turn it. So we're gonna let that sit for a minute. And that's good. You're just looking for a little bit of char. So you can set that aside. And now we're gonna focus on the eggs. Now this is just for one person. So I've taken a little pan and I've sprayed it. And I'm gonna put in a half of a cup of egg white. You could use whole eggs, however many you'd like that'll go on top of the breakfast taco. But for me, I'm just gonna use a half of a cup. And because this is Spanish, I am actually going to cook some chopped up cilantros in the egg. You could also throw in, if you want some extra protein, you could throw in black beans. You could spread refried beans on the tortilla. I'm also going to put a little bit of pepper. Now, one thing that I like to do ahead of time, I'll take a pizza cutter and that tortilla that I already cooked, that I just kind of warmed up, I will cut that into 4 pieces before I put the toppings on there. It just makes it easier to eat. So now that we have the tortillas sliced and browned, I'm taking the half of a cup of cooked egg whites, and then I'm taking the reduced fat pepper jack, taking 1 slice of that and just kind of making sure each piece has one. You could also do this when the eggs were cooking. And then I have some spring onions. Light sour cream, just a little bit of that, about a tablespoon. And this is where you could get creative. Again, you could have black beans. You could still add some black beans to this. You could add salsa, jalapenos. I am adding, I usually, 1 serving to me is about 1/4 of an avocado. So I'm going to add that also. And see, I've just cut it into 1/4 and then just kind of sliced it. So just kind of drizzle it here and there. Last but not least, we can't forget about our bacon, our chicken bacon. Gonna kind of crumble that up. Because I used such lean bacon, chicken bacon, I am going to serve this with 2 on the side. So that is a beautiful breakfast, open face breakfast taco. For this recipe, we are going to be at the stove. We are making spicy black bean soup. The degree of spiciness is up to you. And one thing I wanted to mention about this soup and other soups, it's really, I'm going to show you at the end. First we have to cook this and then we're going to blend it. You could either use a blender, immersion blender, Vitamix, but, oh, and by the way, the last recipe I showed you, the open face breakfast taco, oh my gosh, I had it. I not only make these things just to demonstrate and to show you and to try them out, I eat them. Like I hadn't had any, sometimes I do fasting for 12 hours. So I get up in the morning and I just have black coffee and, you know, just kind of look at videos, watch, you know, some shows, cooking shows, or, you know, get up and walk in place if I'm not going anywhere. But I try to go about 12 hours without eating. And so I don't know if I was just starving, but that breakfast taco, oh my gosh. It's going to be on my list of regular appearances in this kitchen. Okay, so this should make about 4 to 6 servings. So what we're going to start with, 2 cans of black beans and 1 can of fire roasted tomatoes. Now both of these have been drained and rinsed. Even though with the fire roasted tomatoes, it still maintains its fire roast taste, but it does have a little bit of salt and who knows what's in the can, so I still rinse it. That was about a cup of chopped carrots, 1 cup of onion, could be red, could be white, sweet, whatever you want. And then a good handful of jalapenos, 2 bay leaves, half of a tablespoon of cumin. And then you could use vegetable or you could use chicken stock. I choose unsalted. I like to control how much salt goes in it. And that's going to be 2 cups. And the last item is about a half of a tablespoon, about 2 garlic cloves worth. I'm going to bring this to a boil. Then I'm going to show you how to use an immersion blender. Okay, so this is what the soup looks like after it was brought to a boil. And it's up to you if you want to take it out. I'm going to take out the bay leaf. You can leave it in if you want. Immersion blender looks like. The blade is on here, and that's usually how I clean it too. The same way I use it for soup, I actually clean it. Now be very careful. I've let the soup cool off just a little. You can also put this in a blender, but you're going to just come up and down. Be very gentle though. Just like that. Little bits at a time. Mole is kind of a concoction in the Spanish culture. I'm always in search of a really good chocolate mole sauce. I've tried some before. A spice, you've got a little bit of spice and chocolate, and you pour it over meat, and it's amazing. I've tried it over pork before. The one I'm making today is a chipotle peanut mole sauce. So I'm just doing the sauce. Look at my other videos. I'm going to demonstrate a really convenient way to have that meat to cook a bunch of chicken ahead of time and freeze it up. So I'll show you how to season that. But for this is just the sauce. You could use this over a lean cut of beef. You could use this over pretty much any meat that you like. So that was just 1 chipotle pepper. You just don't know how hot they are, so I just put 1 in the Vitamix, or in your blender you want to do that. About half of a tablespoon of allspice, half of a tablespoon of thyme, one cup of onions, let's do the sesames. 2 tablespoons of sesame seeds, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. You can use any vinegar for this, but apple cider might add a little bit of sweetness that would be nice. Pinch of salt. Now this calls for 6 cloves of garlic. So if you have the garlic that's already sliced up, I would say that's probably going to be about 3 tablespoons. Again, you want this to pack a punch because you're just going to put a little bit on the piece of meat. Is peanut butter. It's going to be 2 tablespoons. Okay, and then I'm just going to, oh yes, this also calls for 3/4 of a cup of water. I'm just going to blend until smooth. So definitely give this mole a try. It has like this heat that sneaks up on you from the chipotle. That's how chipotles are. I love it. It's not like overpowering where you don't have your tongue is numb. It has like that low heat to it, but it's got a little sweetness from the sesame and from the peanut. Now I used a natural peanut butter that had no sugar. But certainly just keep that in mind. It's going to have a little more of a sugary taste if you use like a commercially prepared regular peanut butter. But this is going to taste really good. I think it would taste really good over like a lean flank steak. I'm going to use it tonight over grilled chicken. I hope I've inspired you to bring your kitchen to an international table. And I hope that you have a great week, and I hope I hope you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you next week. Adios.